Hi,
Divas!
Welcome to
Wel-
the Diva Garden.
Welcome to the Diva Garden.
Welcome to the Diva Garden.
Cheers. Hello, my name is Kris, and I am your host for this episode of Divas with Ideas. And today I am with Amanda, my wonderful bestie, to talk about her experience in education and helping youth with disabilities, and as well as just to talk about within that space and within like the larger community what more support is needed, what more information is needed, what more other opportunities for different kinds of experiences in that space. And so to re-explain what Divas with Ideas is for everybody who is new, Divas with Ideas is a podcast and is a platform for queer, non-binary, trans, and femme-identifying individuals providing opportunities to connect, educate, and support one another in the most accessible way we know, virtually, in this way, and through storytelling. Love that. And so Divas with Ideas hopes to expand into having in-person meetings, workshops, events in the community to make just things as accessible as possible for the divas who need it most. So just a reminder, anybody can be a diva. Anybody can be a diva. A diva is someone who is authentically themselves and wants to support their community by providing a safe space for others to do the same. And that's what we're doing here. So, introducing Diva Amanda.
Hi.
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 So, as long as I've known my Diva Amanda, I know that you've always wanted to help others, to be part of the larger community and pursue a degree in education. Then you went into museum studies, and now you're a parapro, which you'll talk about more what that is, at schools for youth with disabilities. You like it? Like Divas in the Garden?
Yeah.
Divas
cute.
in the garden.
Divas in the Garden.
Divas in the garden.
Divas in the Garden.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a parapro at the Macomb Intermediate School District. I work in an ASD classroom, so all my kids have autism and are on the spectrum, and I love it. And my school year starts next week. I'm getting excited. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Amanda, tell us your favorite part about being in the education space, from being in school yourself to being in the classroom.
I would definitely have to say my favorite part is getting to have a routine in the classroom and being part of the day, you know, knowing what comes next and just seeing what happens. Also getting to create that space once you go from being in the classroom and wanting a safe space for yourself, and then going into the classroom and creating that safe space is so fun and like nice. So yeah, I guess going from like wanting a safe space as a student to like creating a safe space as like an educator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I feel like is like at the core of Divas, you know, and hearing from other people that have felt like in the past that they haven't had a safe space, and then how they cultivate that for themselves.
Right.
And then for others, wherever they may be, like, you know, in their profession or just in everyday life, you know. But yeah, I think something that I want to make sure like I'm connecting in the podcast is like you to like who a diva is and who we are supporting, and talking about the intersectionality between both, and like how
There are divas everywhere. There are divas in the streets. There are divas.
yeah, there are divas
There
in the
are divas in the classroom.
there's like your little kids are divas.
Oh, don't I know it?
Yeah, we talk about what intersectionality is, which intersectionality is like your different identities, so like your age, your disability, your gender, your sexuality, all these different things, and how when there's more intersections, you're probably experiencing like more adversity in life, you know, especially if there's more diverse intersections. Yes. The more diverse your intersections are, the more, you know, you're probably going to experience pushback in like your everyday life, or things that are like systemically not built for you, you
Right.
know? And so I bet that's something like you deal with a whole lot is like, you know, like in these quote unquote safe spaces in the classroom, you
Yeah.
know, like what is missing from like the other intersectionalities of like all these diverse needs of, because you say everybody's so different
Yeah.
in the classroom, just like everybody in everyday life, you know?
Right.
And it's like, how can you're making an experience kind of like for one person, but you got to figure out how to
make it for a classroom and keep that classroom running, but also keep it for 6 individual people that are very different from each other.
right.
And then also it's, yeah, like a lot of them have different intersectionalities where like not only do they have disabilities, they're also facing, you know, money troubles, homelessness, you know, other things, divorce, whatever it may be, a new sibling coming into the family. Like, you know, all of these things are adding to my kids' adversities that they already have. So it's like,
right.
I sometimes I feel like I can only help so much, which is
Right.
hard
Yeah.
because, you know, I'm helping with the disability side of things.
Yeah.
But also in a beautiful world, I would love to help with like social work and the homelessness and all that, more your side of things,
right.
you know, too.
Like these external issues that you really don't have control.
As an educator
Yeah.
and in like someone in a classroom, like I have no pull over most things, but
yeah.
all I can do is create a safe space in the classroom and make sure they come to school in like that space. And
Yeah. Would that be what you think is like your favorite part, is being able to contribute like
yeah,
to that
I
in a very
definitely
broad
think
sense?
I definitely think like creating that space, yeah, is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, I always, I liked school, but hard for me. And so I think now that I'm in a school, working in a school, I want, even though sometimes school is hard, I still want them to have fun and feel seen and like
Right.
be heard.
Right. Because that was like so important for us.
It's like we didn't have safe spaces. So
No, like everything was for like one type of brain, but I mean like we did get accommodations in school.
the one
but
place that I like felt seen was the special education classroom, and I felt like I had time to do what I needed and to ask the questions that I had.
yeah. And like talk like, so when you were in school, like what were your specific struggles? Was it like, talk about that,
So
like what you
for
struggled with?
me, I couldn't like do timed things were really hard for me. They would make me really anxious, and then I would like black out and basically just not do them. And then the amount of work was also a lot for me. Like it just takes me a lot longer. Like, you know, everyone says like, oh, you know, the average amount of homework is such and such. It would take me like 2 to 3 times as long to complete that amount of homework that it took everyone else like 20 minutes to do. It would take me like an hour.
Yeah.
So that was hard. And then also reading is like my biggest struggle.
Right.
The dyslexia, it'll get you.
It'll get you.
It'll get you.
It'll get you good. And I remember though, like when you did get into college, like they were, I feel like, better about like the accommodations.
Yeah, like
stuff
it
for
was
you.
also nice
Yeah.
once you're in college, you kind of have to advocate for yourself a little bit more
Yeah.
with your accommodations, and I was always up on it and being like, I have accommodations. Hello, this is the first class. Boink. And
Yeah.
give them the paper. But sometimes, you know, I didn't like the general education classroom because I didn't feel like I could keep up necessarily.
Right. Like even though you have like these accommodations in place for you, like they're not actively trying to form it around you, and they're probably not like these professors. They're not, especially in college. Like nobody talks about that. Like a lot of like college professors aren't trained to teach.
They don't know like pedagogy and things like that. So I think
What does that even mean?
That's like the science of teaching.
Oh. Right.
Right. So it's interesting to me that like, I don't know, these people are teaching us, and I know they're experts in their field, but like there's a difference between being an expert in your field and also being able to teach in your field.
Right. Because you literally, like, when you go to school for education, you get taught how to be an expert at teaching. And they're not. And so it's just like, that disconnect will always be there.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I think I liked being an education major, because most of my professors were teachers. Mm-hmm. So they had kind of that understanding of how to teach. Right. Which was nice, because I feel like some professors, you're like, you've never been in a classroom a day in your life. You have...
Like, you're speaking off the cuff, sounding like a darn research article.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know that jargon.
Right.
And then they're like, you should know it. And I'm like, this isn't my major. This is a WI course. This is a writing intensive. But yeah, I think it's really interesting that like they also don't get any training of how to deal with like different people, like different disabilities and different anything like that.
Right. Like unless you count like the one diversity, equity, and inclusion like thing that they have to take before they get employed. But like outside of that, like, you also have to be thinking about, like, so they didn't get that experience, and then they also don't have maybe the experience of, like, supporting different other people with different disabilities or intersectionalities, you know, like...
Because, like, you know, it's also hard once you get into college because you're also dealing with other things and, like, work and life and all of that. So I feel like you have to... not want to deal with the intersectionality, but know that you need to be wary and cognizant of it because it's so a factor. It's
so huge. I mean, that's like, it's like basically like these things like make or break, you know, someone staying in university, and if that's, you know, because... Yeah, I mean, like, if the accommodations are, like, you know, like, the level of understanding and those things aren't in place, like, that's how people fall through the cracks. And, you know, that's the opposite of a safe space, is, like, not having these accommodations, not having safety nets, you know? And that, like, depending on the university you go to or the degree that you took, like, you may or may not have those supports as great. Like, for example, I did social work, so, like, of course, all the social work professors, they have a background in social work, so they're all super understanding and give accommodations. And, you know, we're pretty, like, you know, lenient in terms of, you know, if you needed extra time because you were going through this or that. Like, when I was going through a lot of difficulties with my mental health and anxiety, and I, like, felt like I couldn't get stuff done, like, I had my own accommodations in school during that time where I was, like, it was, like, every day there was, like, some new event that happened in my life that, like, was triggering or traumatizing, and then, like, I'd spiral and, like, not be able to get anything done. And, like, generalized anxiety disorder.
Shout out to her.
Hey, drop a comment down below if you have generalized anxiety disorder.
All the baddies got it out there.
All the baddies got it. Because, like, that's also, I don't know if I should start adding this to the diva definition of who we are trying to uplift and protect, is divas with disabilities, because, like, that's a lot of the divas that are in this community also experience those things because they're experiencing more adversity, which means they're more likely to develop, you know, things like anxiety and depression and PTSD and all of these things from all of, like, pushback from society or family and, like, the structures that they have to forced to be existing in, you know, like in school, right? You know, and that, like, and to feel like you're feeling inadequate just because you, like, you know, can't keep up with, you know, how they set things because they have such a structure and they don't have the accommodation, but you do, like, you're really smart and you just need, like, if you had that support, you'd be able to see all these, like, your skills and your wonderful diva ideas and all those things, to have time for those things to like develop and cultivate and to be nurtured. And like, that's what you're able to do, you know, with these students. And I think that's so wonderful. And yeah, like, I just want this space to like help advocate for that. And that's why, like, I think it's great that you're like here and talking, because like, I feel like this is not something that gets to get talked about.
No, nobody usually likes to talk about my kind of kids.
Yeah, and I want to get into that more. So, as a social worker myself, and being in an adjacent helping profession, like you, like teaching, and also you have, you know, the intersection of disability, so it's never just teaching.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have also both experienced like our career paths, like either like being devalued or misunderstood in society, or like, you know, just by other people not understanding. There's so many different things that you can do within it. And so, and then between like the different policies that are coming out, you know, the different like how stigma changes over time, there's all those things that we're considering. And so like, what do you wish people knew more about the reality about your job and your experience?
I definitely think that a lot of people have a misconception that all I do is like play all day and like we sing songs and skip around and do nothing. People feel like I'm a babysitter. Like, even some of my family members have like made that comment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we're academic. Like, we teach them things. They learn.
Right.
Majority rule of the day, they're learning. And, you know, it is a high support or high behavior needs community that I work with. So it's sometimes hard because there are some days where, yep, we don't get a lot of schoolwork done. I won't lie. But there are other days where we have a whole day where everything's easy peasy. And I feel like a lot of people, how do I word it? I feel like a lot of people don't know that we work, like, you know, I get bit sometimes. Sometimes I get hit. Sometimes I get hurt. But that doesn't stop me from showing up to work every day.
Right.
And like, a lot of people don't understand that, and they don't get that, and a lot of people don't know that about my profession. They just assume that like we play, or like, you know, I'm just helping the teacher all day, which I am helping the teacher all day. Important part of my job.
Of course.
But, you know, I'm also supporting behaviors all day, and like, you know, de-escalating those, and, you know, keeping everyone safe and all of that. So it's like, there's a lot more to it than just helping out the teacher and like making art projects with kids.
Right. It's so like your level of like empathy, you know, and capacity and understanding is like so important in this job. And some of those things can't be taught, you know. Some of those things are through experience, or it does take somebody maybe with like a specific experience. And would you think?
Yeah, I think you have to, most people don't know about the school district that I work for because it's very big because it's all of Macomb, but the schools are quite small. So, you know, not a lot of people know, and not a lot of people know about our kind of kids with, you know, multiple cognitive impairments, or multiple, you know, they're in wheelchairs, or they're using walkers, or, you know, different things like that. Because a lot of people just don't see those kind of kids out because they don't get the same opportunities as other kids to like go play or go out or go to the museum, or, you know, go to Target, or just, you know, be out and about like other kids. Or even just going to the park is not something that is like so easy for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like a lot of people don't see disability because it's kind of like still in a way hidden.
Right. Like there is this level of like shame that still exists, and like also, I don't know how to describe it, like, because like even like with what we like struggle with, you know, there's just like still the misunderstanding. There still is like the generational gaps of education of what people experience, you know?
Yeah.
What advice or things that you wish like you would have known would you like offer to someone to know with their first time of entering this kind of like profession? Or what do you think, like, I don't know, because like we were saying, like it's like it does it take a specific kind of person? Does it take a specific kind of skill?
I think if
Yeah.
you have ever worked with autistic kids or worked with kids with disabilities in some facet and form, and you enjoyed it and you're like, I could do this, I would say try it out. There's nothing wrong with trying it out and just seeing what it's like.
Right.
I do think it takes a certain person because you do need to have impeccable patience. I won't sit here and lie to you. I know I have good patience, and even sometimes my patience is tried.
Okay.
Oh my God, we almost went a diva down.
Diva down into the leaves.
Diva down in the ditch. Sorry.
No. Got it.
Okay. But I think it takes knowing yourself and knowing the empathy that you have to give, and the patience that you have to give, and also the willingness that you can give, because, you know, there are some days where you're running and you're going the whole day.
Right.
But it's also about, like, it's such a rewarding field to go from, like, a student not writing or only knowing some of the alphabet to knowing all of the alphabet and being able to write their name independently. Like, it's so rewarding when you work on that every morning, just writing letter by letter, tracing, and then you go, you know, work on it through and through. And it's so rewarding to see that happen that, you know, sometimes getting a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you have to know what to expect.
And also, I also feel like I tell people the reality of my job, and then they're like terrified of it. Please don't be terrified. It's genuinely like, it's every once in a while you'll get injured.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting injured every day. Like, it happens every once in a while when, you know, I always say, like, all behavior is a form of communication. So
Heavy on that.
yeah, so it's like they're trying to tell you something.
Right.
Think about the environment. What was going on? Were you making demands? You know,
Yeah.
looking at it like that, different things. You have a little bug on your face.
Oh. Bug on the face.
Bug on the face?
Bug on the face. Yeah. And so, like, you know, having that level of like patience and passion and love, like, it's like those are all things that I feel like you have to like balance that constantly, because that's how it is like with social work, you know, and like the level of like burnout you can experience within like, you know, providing emotional support, or if it's like, you know, what am I trying to say? If it's
you're providing emotional support, and you need to still be supported.
Yes.
For yourself, because you need to still take care of yourself and, you know, make time for yourself. And because you're in what kind of job? Like a job that can lead to burnout really easily and quickly, and if you don't take care of yourself and kind of have boundaries in your job.
Right.
You know, because sometimes you just need to have a little tap out and go sit for 10 minutes in your car.
Literally,
Sometimes
Yeah.
that happens, you know, like
yeah, like after a long call of someone like crying and yelling at me like over the phone, I gotta go literally touch some grass. Like I gotta
Yeah.
go outside and like take a moment. And that's why you gotta like know yourself and know how to listen to yourself and your own needs just as much as you listen to other people. And like I can say that goes for anything, you know, because I feel like there's just like lots of burnout, especially like in our Divas community. Here's
Yeah.
like something that we all struggle with, and that there's like so much to balance, and then there's like all these other external things, you know, that are out
Yeah.
of control, like different policies that are happening that are like what's true, what isn't true, you know, what's happening.
Yeah.
And like figuring out like that constant balance of like staying grounded and also being able to separate yourself from like that stuff and allow yourself to like relax or have fun. And it's
heavy on that.
it's a constant juggle. Like
Yeah.
it's never gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be, oh, I finally like figured it out.
Yeah.
It's just gonna always change, and you have to be okay with that. And like, you know, just I don't know. Like I was like interested to just like talk about like, I'm still social work for this, but I want to talk about like coping skills
Yeah.
and supports, whether it's stuff that you use like for de-escalation in the classroom, or if it's talking about how you deal with like your own, you know, like burnout, I guess, and how you combat that and make sure that doesn't happen as often.
So for me, I'm really big on my therapy. You know this.
Yeah.
Every week, block out my time. Have to have it. You know. I also always have like a small fidget toy that I could kind of just have in my pocket and play with. Because I just sometimes need to be moving. I also learned a theater trick. Teaching class. So the ridges of your nails, just like breathe and just like feel the ridges of your nails. It's nice. It is nice. And we used to do that before we would do monologues, but now I do it at my job.
Yeah.
And what else do I cope with? I also de-escalating, like definitely listening and looking at the situation from an outside perspective. Because I feel like once you're in the behavior, in the situation, it's very stressful or high stress. But if you look at it from an outside perspective, you'll be more like, oh, this is what could have set off this, or oh, we took this away, we took the iPad away, that's why he threw the pencils across the room, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, looking at it through that lens rather than just being like, I don't know what I did wrong, like he just threw the pencils everywhere, but not looking at the, oh, well, you took something away from them.
Right.
Obviously they may be upset, so to tell you that, they're gonna throw the pencils.
Right. Because like in these situations, like we can't take things personally.
No.
You
and
know?
that's like the biggest thing that I learned in my, like, I guess, yeah, like 8 months now and working in special education, is like you cannot take things personally. Like even being bit, like I don't even take that personally.
No.
I'm like, oh, all right.
Because like then you just think again, what were they trying to communicate?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
something was happening, something was going down. They needed to tell me something.
Yeah.
Would I have preferred a different way? Of course.
Yeah.
But here we are.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
This is what you knew you were probably gonna get into, and you know you figure out how you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah, and too, like
yeah.
I feel like, you know, just being able to de-escalate a situation by knowing the student. I feel like having that good relationship with them and knowing them well enough that, like, I had one kid that would go crazy for those, like, baby sensory fruit dancing videos.
Yes.
And so he would be like, freaking out, crying, or, having a behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just whip that on, bam, like magic. So, like, knowing your kids well enough to know what they need to kind of help regulate themselves.
Exactly. Just like as knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to do the same. And yeah, but that's like, I think, one of the most fulfilling parts. Is the connection.
Yes,
100%. You build, and like the trust that you build, the way that you can see them grow, just by providing positive learning experience, providing the safe space, accommodating them when they need it. Like, we all wish like that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
If in adulthood we just, everything was like that, but it's not. But it's not.
But it's not, sadly.
No. But yeah, I love that. Let's talk about with all these things in mind and all the things we're passionate about, and sorry. So advocacy.
Yeah.
Advocacy. So Divas with Ideas is committed to developing a supportive community for queer, non-binary, trans, and femme-identifying and divas with disabilities, providing them with opportunities to connect and educate and support one another. And so I'm interested in creating more accessible spaces for those with similar identities and professions to ask questions and learn from each other, whether that be virtually or like in-person meetings, events, education, training sessions, things like that. Yeah, but in terms of like advocacy and bringing awareness to what you do and the supports that you would like to see more of in that space, whether it's for the youth or for you and the people who are, working in your kind of profession, I guess, what do you want to see more?
I'd love to see just more talk and advocacy for parapros. I feel like a lot of people don't know about us or don't know what we do. And I also feel like, obviously, with new policies and things coming in and budget cuts to education even more, parapros are pretty low on the totem pole. I would love to see more parapros in places that have power for education, because it's kind of hard to kind of just be sitting on the back burner, even though it does affect you personally.
Right.
But I would also love to see just more awareness and more, awareness and like advocacy for students with disabilities and with divas with disabilities and just people with disabilities in general. Just having more advocacy and, thinking about when you're planning events and when you're doing things for the community, thinking about, can someone that maybe has a wheelchair, do they have a place to, park their wheelchair? Do they have a place to go into the building? Do they have, okay, it's really loud. Is there a quiet space that we can make for people that are autistic that need a break if it's too loud and overstimulating? Providing headphones at museums or even community events would be amazing. My one cousin has autism and he loves marching bands, but you would never think that, but he's got his little headphones on and he absolutely loves it.
What about just like those little foam ear plugs? Like, what are those things? Is there a reason you say headphones over earplug?
I just know that headphones are more reusable, so they're, more cost effective. And also they dampen the sound and kind of put pressure.
Right.
And a lot of my kids love pressure.
I know, I'm like...
Yeah, a lot of my kids love pressure. So they also like the like squeeze of it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I love that too.
But I would love to see just more people be cognizant and aware
Yeah.
of people with disabilities when
Yeah.
you're making community events. You want everyone should be included.
Exactly.
If it's a community event, that means the whole community should be able to show up.
Right. The divas with the disabilities.
Yes.
We gotta make sure we're making our accommodations and our intentions clear with our events, and that's super important. And that's like why I want to have these conversations, because I like to hear these things, so I know like when I do have. Damn, the cicada's loud. Yeah. But yeah, for having events and things, like I just want to make sure things are as accessible as possible for the community for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out, how do I advocate for me?
Yeah.
And
that's a big thing, is figuring out how to advocate for yourself.
yeah, and finding your voice. And like, because like with those experiences, whoa. Whoa.
Oh,
That's good. Okay. That was
wind
nice.
blown. I was gonna say, some.
Ooh. It's gone. Whatever the thought was, it blew
okay.
away with the wind.
It took us.
Blown away. Blown away. Oh yeah, accommodations and work. Yeah, and great. So that's why we got Divas.
We do.
We got Divas with Ideas, because I want to create spaces where we can like workshop these different ideas of how we can make either, where we're currently working more accommodating, or where we're in our communities of like, what are people really interested in? What would make it most accessible for everybody to get involved and have a say?
Right.
And like, or at least like get their feedback, and knowing how to do that in an effective way. And I'm really excited to start doing some like virtual meetings and things like that.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah.
Because I feel like that's like super accessible for
Yeah.
anybody in terms of like, we're all busy like with time and like being able to record things, watch them back, post those and have captions and all of those things to make it accessible to any diva that has a diva with an idea and wants to hear from other divas.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that really excites me. Like I guess with hearing that, like, and the future of Divas with Ideas and how it could support you, like what do you like to see more of, or what do you like already? Or
I like that you guys post community events, and I feel like just being up on that is so nice to see.
Yeah.
And coming from someone that like isn't necessarily right in the Detroit area, it's nice to see what's going on in Detroit. And kind of getting that queer perspective on it rather than, the mainstream perspective.
Yeah. Knowing where the safe spaces are.
Yeah, knowing that it's a safe space to like look through, and like what's being posted has been vetted and like looked at, and like, it's nice. And I also like the just you talking to people. I love you talking to people because I've known Kristen forever. So it's always nice to see you get into your zhuzh, and like even just seeing you talk with Jayla was so nice, and like love Jayla. Shout out Diva Jayla.
Diva Jayla!
Love you, girl. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
And just talking to different people in social work and these professions that are working with people that need to be supported, and how that can support Divas with Ideas.
Right. Because that's what so many of our divas do. Like,
Yeah,
every
and
time I talk to somebody in the community, a lot of the times they're doing some sort of, like community organizing social work, or they're doing like, or public health, or then they're doing teaching, or they're in something in education, or there's something creative.
Yeah.
And all of these things are community based.
Yes.
And all of them are really heavy on like, being intense, and we all are very passionate about what we do. So it's like, it's really hard to like put on the brakes and create boundaries for ourselves. And that's why it's important to hear from everybody's different perspective.
Yeah.
Because there's not just stuff that we can take from, you know, someone that's just like us, but someone that is adjacent to us and like still understands and, you know, can provide this alternative perspective or way of thinking about things or approaching things to make things more enjoyable for the stuff that we want or have to do every day, you know, like.
And also like finding a community that you can also go to when you're ready to pump the brakes, you know, like a space that like, okay, I'm ready to pump the brakes. Let me put on a podcast. Let me put on some divas. Let me put on some ideas. Like,
let me go to a diva event. Like,
exactly.
Let me go to an event where the divas may be at.
Diva!
And before we go, any last questions for other people, like in the same profession as you, or like things that you would like want to ask? Is there anything like that you think about, or is there any like a call to action, a last words, words of encouragement?
When I was in school, we always had a why, like a little Post-it card that was, you know, why? What is your why? Why are you here? Why do you want to do this? Mm-hmm. And I always like to just make sure and check in on myself like once a week and be like, I'm still in this for the right reasons, you know? I still want this, especially after like a hard day. Mm-hmm. It's always good to just remind yourself why you want to stay and why you want to be here. It's always for the kids 100% of the time. But, you know.
I like that though. It like, because we were talking about like, you know, the setting intentions and everything, but that's a great way to like kind of simplify all of those ideas and like feelings of just like wanting to make sure you're checking in with yourself.
You got to check in with yourself. You got to make sure your intentions are right, because as soon as they're wrong, you don't like your job. When you don't like your job, you don't do your job well. When you don't do your job well, then the kids are being neglected, in my opinion, and that's what I never want to happen. So yeah.
That's our message for divas with disabilities, or divas that help other divas with disabilities.
Or if you're a diva with a disability, helping divas with disabilities.
Yeah. if you're a diva with a disability that likes to help divas with disabilities, you should like,
comment, and subscribe.
Hit that notification bell. You should. What else should you do?
You should check out your local intermediate school district. See if you can volunteer or help out.
Yes.
See if there's any local play places. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's an autism play place, I think in, I want to say Troy or Royal Oak, but I could be wrong.
Are you saying to like volunteer at those?
Yeah, you can volunteer at those.
Okay, cool.
And you could also, if you have an autistic child that you want to bring, or just a child in general, it's a great play place.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like a great way to like get your foot in and see if like it's right for you.
Yeah.
You know, is to volunteer and to get involved and, you know, be part of the conversation and be open to listening and all of those things. So thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
I love you, Diva.
I love you too.
That's my bestie right there.
That's my bestie.
Know her since kindergarten.
Yes.
Kindergarten bestie. Love her to deathy. Got her a chai.
Got me my chai.
Cheers. Go to Milwaukee Cafe in the North End.
You went to Milwaukee?
Mm-hmm.
All the way.
Milwaukee.
You went to Milwaukee? Did he do it?
Yeah, you did it.